Thank you, Victor. Yeah, I am really happy to be here today because um, I I am really excited to endorse Victor's candidacy for president-elect, and I'm really happy to be able to tell you why. Um, I think he brings critical qualities needed to navigate NASW through some rough seas. We're experiencing it in our political environment. And because of who we are, because of our code of ethics and what it calls upon us to do, I think we need somebody leading NASW who gets it. Not only gets it from a political framework. I just can't underscore that enough. This current political environment is hostile to virtually everything our profession represents, from safety net programs to diversity, equity, and inclusion to human rights. And we are going to be, well, we are right now, we are challenged to stand up and resist in meaningful ways. And this is not an easy order to fill because many of us are connected to universities that really don't know exactly what to do in the face of threatened funding cuts, in the face of, asking us to turn our back on values that we hold dear and that we actually know are bedrock to the welfare of the people we serve, as well as to our country as a whole. So, that on top of everything else, means we really need to have somebody that has a particular kind of savvy to do it. And I think Victor's that person. His background as a political social worker, a macro practice guy, if you will, I think is perfectly suited to assuming the role of president-elect and then president of NASW board. I think he understands, because I've seen it demonstrated, how important relationships are to bringing about desired outcomes. And I think he's pragmatic enough to know that we may not always get exactly what we want, but we can sure as hell get a little bit closer. I think he knows how to read situations and respond in ways that are aligned with our code of ethics and our commitment to social justice. I think he's demonstrated this in terms of his duties in elected office in his community, as well as his work with NASW. I think he's committed to service, and he's demonstrated that kind of leadership at community, state, and national level. I've known Victor, as he said, since 2012. We met as national board members, and I know something of the many experiences that Victor has had in working with NASW, from being a part of the board that hired a new CEO. That was really, an eye-opening process. What do we need and who filled the bill? And I think we made a good choice at that time, still do. I think he had an interesting task, and I don't mean to step on any toes, but he was part of a task force. He led a task force to look at delegate assembly and think through, what changes might need to be made to make it more sustainable and a little more in sync with where we are technologically. And I know delegate assembly is held near and dear by many people, and yet in these times, an incredibly expensive process. So there was a lot of delicate discussion and review. And as it turned out, most of those suggestions at the time, recommendations, were not necessarily adopted. But I don't believe that effort went for nothing. I think it really helped open some eyes and move us to a place that was better than we were. I just know that leadership skill that was required then was enormous. And I think Victor probably learned a great deal about the members who are passionate about the direction they wanted NASW to go at the time. And so I think that was a huge experience. I think he would also bring you rich experience from serving as the president of the California chapter, because I'm pretty sure that was not a piece of cake at times. That that you really had to, put on your listening ears and, bring everything you had to your game. He also brings experience from his work on the insurance board, as we know, is a very complicated industry, and it's very important to the members of NASW who purchase insurance from that source. So you again need to be at the top of your game to be able to really discern what's going on there and serve the best interests of members. So just to wind up, I think Victor is the right candidate for the position in these particular times. And I've sat beside him in critical meetings, and I know that he's able to ask the hard questions when nothing else will do. And we don't deserve anything less. So you have my full support, and I wish you good luck, because you have a formidable opponent, but you are the person for the time, in my opinion. So
Thank
that's my piece.
you.